If I have to make a tackle, then I have already made a mistake. That is what the great Paolo Maldini said. We are going to talk about positional play. Positional play is the most important aspect when it comes to defending. What is positional play? It involves jockeying. How to jockey correctly like a pro, how to jockey like an elite defender, right? The basics of jockeying in football apply to FIFA as well, and I'm going to show you that. So first up, we are going to focus on running jockey. That is done by holding down both L2 and R2 on the controller, right? As you can see, we are able to mirror the player correctly whenever we are doing the running jockey. Whenever we are defending, in order to improve our positional play, we need to focus on mirroring the opponent. So what does mirroring mean? It means you have to replicate the movements of the opponent. You have to carefully follow him without actually overcommitting on one side. That we will focus on later on, right? As you can see in these clips, we are using both the L2 and R2 button. Why are we using the L2 and the R2 button right now? In a 1v1 situation, you have to use all three combinations, right? So the first combination is to use L2 and R2. The second combination is to use only L2 jockey button, and the third one is to use jockey in combination with sprint. So you will be holding L2, but you will not be holding R2. You will release L2 and then you will hold R2. That I will talk about later on. So right now you can see this guy is moving away from me and I am jockeying diagonally. Always jockey diagonally. That way you are also able to cut a pass while making sure the opponent doesn't beat you in a 1v1, right? So the moment he goes away from me, I hold the R2 button and now I am holding the L2 button, right? This is called gas and brake technique that I have been preaching for so long. But the moment I get close, I hold L2 again. Why do I hold L2 again? Because I have to replicate him. I have to mirror him. Whenever I am in front of him, I need to mirror his movements. And if he is too close and I hold R2, then I will be off balance, right? So in order to prevent that from happening, I'm only going to use L2 as L2 offers better balance, right? So as you can see, running jockey, the moment he goes away, we are going to use sprint jockey. Then he comes close. Again, we are going to use the normal jockey. Now this is very easy to say, but it is hard to master. So that is the core fundamental of jockeying. Running jockey in combination with the gas and brake technique. But like I said, it is very easy to say, but it is harder to do. So how can you actually master it, guys? So first up, you need to gain control over your player. How can you do that? You can do that by going into the skill games. This one is called Defend the Mini Net. So if you can go to this skill game and actually practice jockeying like I am doing right now, you will be able to have better mechanical control over your player. Having mechanical control is very important, right? I can teach you anticipation in combination with timing, but you will not be able to master it unless you have mastered the mechanics, right? So these are the mechanics that you really need to master. Be very gentle on the left stick when you are moving with your player. That offers more agile movement with the jockey, right? And have a player with high defensive awareness. So this is the fundamental of jockeying, right? Now let's talk about the advanced stuff. This is the gas technique, right? You can see the opponent is further away from us. So what is the game telling us to do? It is asking us to use R2, right? This is what you exactly have to do. Whenever you see the opponent is further away from you, you of course want to sprint at the maximum pace. And how can you do that? By holding L2 and R2? No, you can do that by holding only the sprint button down, right? So when we do get close, we hold L2, R2, or sometimes only the L2 button, right? Whenever the opponent is away from us, we need to catch him up. We will do that with the R2 button. I hope this will clear a lot of confusion for you guys. Again, you can do this skill game as well. Now, if we talk about interceptions, guys, the game is asking us to use the L2 button. But for interceptions, the best buttons are the L2 plus R2. Why? Why is the speed jockey best for intercepting? Because when you are intercepting, there is enough distance between you and the opponent. And secondly, you are not trying to mirror him. Rather, you are trying to get the ball from him by intercepting a pass. Usually, there will be 2 to 3 passes on and you need to move very quickly, right? If it's a real game, what will I do? I will go like this and then I will move back in this direction. Why? So if I will go up, the opponent will think that, okay, he is going to intercept this pass, right? So he will not pass the ball over there. Instead, he will try to pass the ball here. So I will go over there, right? This is called anticipation, right? And you can only anticipate quickly with the running jockey. Always remember, running jockey is what you need to use when you are trying to intercept the ball, right? See, over here, we need to intercept. We are doing it with running jockey. It gives us better control over the player and we can move quickly between different passing lanes. Again, you have to master the mechanics, and you will do that by going into this skill game. Now we are going to use these lessons in game. So how can you use the mirroring technique in game? Again, you have to focus on what the opponent is trying to achieve, right? See, over here, my goal is to intercept the ball. Like I showed you in the skill game, what am I doing? I am holding L2, R2 button, and here I have successfully marked the pass into Hullet, right? So the opponent will not pass the ball to him. Instead, he will pass the ball into Messi. And now you will see that we are going to mirror him with L2 button. You can see we are mirroring his movements. We are not letting him beat us, and we will get the ball back. As you can see, you always need to keep enough distance between yourself and the opponent. So what you have to do in order to improve your positional play, guys, you have to keep enough distance between yourself and the opponent, as well as analyze all his options, right? In this situation, the opponent has either this option or to go straight over here. Now if I start running with him like a madman, which most players will do, what will happen? I will give him this cutback, right? He has the cutback open. He can play on the minus. So what am I supposed to do? I am supposed to mark both of these things, this and this. How can I achieve this? By keeping enough distance between myself and the opponent and actually paying attention where is he going to go next. So look, guys, he decides to go over there, we mark it, right? He comes back, we have marked it as well. Now we are going to use L2 and R2 in order to mark his pass inside, and you will see what is going to happen. We are going to get the ball back from him. Once again, you can see positional play, right? The opponent has this pass on the minus. So what are we using? We are using L2 and R2, and we are slowly moving in this direction. It's all about positioning your defenders correctly. We are going to focus on Maldini's philosophy of not making a tackle, right? We do that, we do exactly that, and you will see we will end up getting this ball back because we are defending like a wall. And if you can defend like a wall, if you are positioning your players correctly, you will improve for sure. That also involves switching. That is for another day. Today we will focus on positional play with the jockey button, right? What is the most overpowered skill move on FIFA 23? It is the step over. Why do people get beaten with the step over, right? Just see. Over here the opponent passes the ball into Mbappe. Now I have selected Saliba. If I step up at this moment, he will beat me with the step over. Why? Because I am overcommitting in one direction. Instead, if I jockey backwards, if I take a little step backwards, look at me in the camera like this, what will happen? I will make sure that I am covering more ground, and instead he will step over into me. Look, this is what you have to do in order to counter step overs, right? Do not overcommit in one direction. This is why people get beaten with the step overs. If you overcommit in one direction, the other space is open and the players usually step over in that space and you are gone. So if you have enough grip over what the opponent is going to do, you need to learn the meta, you need to know the overpowered skill moves, which are the step overs, the elasticos, the reverse elasticos, right? Then you can defend them as well with correct positional play that involves using the jockey button. Now watching tutorials is very helpful. If this video has helped you, make sure to click that like button. However, sometimes you need something more. People need help for their own specific FIFA needs. That is why I offer personal coaching. So if you are interested, make sure to check the link in the description and you will not be disappointed. So these are the only techniques you need to master in order to improve your positional play on FIFA 23.